Coach, they scored 53 in the second half. You guys felt like you did a really good job, especially later in the first half with the defense. What maybe in your eyes went wrong there in the second half defensively for them to – it's hard to win when you give up 53 on a home court.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the number one thing was just the paint touches they got. There were some high ball screens and things that we messed up, some switches, which we did a good job of, for a good part of the game. And then second half, we didn't communicate that well enough, and they were able to get to the rim and got a few free throws early there to start, and got some of those paint touches, and then a few of the live ball turnovers. The 14 turnovers is just It's a pretty simple deal. You take care of the basketball, you win the game. And, we got that lead, and then we had, 4 out of 5 possessions. I think we turned the ball over during a 10-0 run when we had the lead up to 16. And that's just, something that you just can't do if you're going to beat a good team.
In the speech you had with the team after the last win, you said this is a really good team. You kind of had a chance to prove it out there. You had them down. How hard is it when you have them beat and it just kind of crumbles like that? It was a quad one opportunity and it just, it's all gone.
Yeah, it's disappointing for sure. Like it's, we played well for a good, 25, 27, 28 minutes, whatever, and then just had a bad stretch in there, and the game flipped, and that's why the turnovers are a big piece of that. I thought, we had. I can't remember, it was 15 or 16, and Tucker picked up his third and fourth foul on back-to-back possessions, and then they went on a 10-0 run right after that. So that was a big turning point in the game, I thought, where he picked those two up.
Yeah, Coach, the ability to sustain what you did so well for like the first 25 minutes, the key to that, and then how do you grow from this, learn from this?
Yeah, something I talked to the team about, and we've been talking to the team about. When they're executing it, the way that they did the first 25 minutes, it looks really good, and they're doing a great job, and they're defending and getting movement and things. But as soon as you get away from that a little bit, and now the turnovers or maybe the lack of communication on a few of those possessions, now all of a sudden that everything you built up for 25 minutes goes away in a hurry, and that's something that we've had a few moments this year where that's happened, and we've talked to them a lot about it's that next play mentality, win that next play, and not compound mistakes. And I thought tonight, again, for a stretch, there was a period where we let one mistake turn into two, and then instead of digging in and really, making sure now we get a quality possession the next time, we compounded it with another turnover, and it led to back, and all of a sudden your lead is gone, and momentum is real, and it shifted pretty quickly there.
Yeah, Darren. After Tucker picks up those 2 questionable calls, gets his 4th, what did you need to see from the other guys in that situation when you don't have Tucker on the floor?
I think the same thing they've done all year. I mean, it's not like he hasn't been on the floor, before. They've always done a great job. I just think we didn't have the type of possessions we needed after he went out. Again, and most of them, it was just turnovers. We didn't even get shots at the goal. I thought we might have 1 or 2 in there where I think Lamar drove it hard and, tried going through contact, whatever, but and we didn't, get one there. But outside of that, we just didn't get very good possessions. Our movement wasn't as good. That's when we were really getting them, was getting them side to side, getting them in angles, and getting a paint touch, and then a kick out 3. I thought we looked just a little stagnant and stood around a little bit, and that allowed them just to kind of sit in their gaps and could load up on us.
Darren, on your left, obviously they were able to set their defense when they got those turnovers and were able to get runouts. Did you see them change anything in the second half differently than what they were doing and what you were able to break down in the first half?
Not really. They were a little more hugged up, which is even for them throughout the game. They weren't pulled over quite as far as they normally are on some of the stuff because they really kind of zone up man to man. So typically you don't get to the rim very often. They don't give up very many twos. My guess is they were a little more concerned with their shooting. So we were able to get more opportunities at the rim tonight when we got them moving, as long as we got them in actions. So I thought for the most part we scored plenty of points. minus the turnovers. It wasn't. I mean, our offense was the turnovers, but it wasn't necessarily our offense that got us beat. It was the turnovers and then the defensive breakdowns in the second half. That was the biggest difference. You can't give up 50-plus points at home. It just can't happen.
Do you ever, as a coach, do you ever have a love-hate relationship with the three-pointer?
Not really. I mean, it's a big part of what we do. Obviously, when you are a 3-point shooting team, it's you want to make sure you're getting the type of threes, the quality threes that you want to get. That's important. But we recruit to it, we play to it. It's all about just making sure though that you get some. And there was probably a few in the second half that I thought we got a little anxious. Trying to get it back on a couple of possessions instead of relying on some movement to then get a better one. And that's more just being better on offense than it is about whether you shoot too many threes or not shoot too many threes. Oh, yeah, they shoot a lot too. They shoot. I think they get 34 of them up tonight. So they spread you out as well, and that's. Similar to us, that's where you got decisions to make on how much can you help in those gaps and take away the threes, and then all of a sudden you get some driving opportunities, which I thought they did a good job of taking advantage of in the second half.
I know you've talked so much about just the emphasis of not turning the ball over and how big that is to kind of win games consistently, but it seems like there's been ebbs and flows throughout the season. You guys really started the season taking care of the ball pretty well, then you kind of had a rut where you were turning it over more, and then it kind of keeps it back up today. As a coach, like in game, how do you kind of try to stem the tide with the turnovers? And it seemed like a lot of them today were kind of self-inflicted mistakes, not them doing anything else. How do you communicate with the players and try to change the momentum when that's happening so often?
Yeah, and we told the guys at halftime. I think we had 6 turnovers, and I felt like a lot of those were just self-inflicted. It wasn't even them, being aggressive and coming, raking the ball out or something. They were just, those type of turnovers that you just hate as a coach. And if we would turn it over, I told them if we turn it over, 5 or less times in the second half, we're going to win the game. And we just didn't do it. And I thought that again, that just won the game.